Hey there, I'm some random guy. Let's play Escape the Dark Castle. Have the castle ready? I've chosen the Taylor and the Smith characters. Let's go. After years of incarceration in the depths of the dark castle, you finally break free of your cell. In a small stone room adjoining the cell block stands an old wooden chest. The lock is open. Draw an item card per player now. You hear footsteps approaching. You must not linger here. You make for the exit, slipping away and disappearing into the darkness. Turn the first chapter card now. Okay, what items? Decayed Blade, weapon one-handed. Once per round of combat, when you roll Wisdom, you may roll again and choose which of the two results to apply. So the Wisdom is the star attribute on the characters. Both of them have value of 3. So, okay. Once per round of combat, when you roll Wisdom, you may roll again and choose which. Okay. And the second is the Healing Versus, a relic. Whenever you roll a double, you may restore 1 HP to any character. Okay, so both of these really don't matter which character has them. Let us flip the first chapter card. The smell of manure is thick as you enter this chamber, flanked by wooden animal stalls. An agitated beast of burden has broken free of its pen and now blocks your way. It is cornered, mighty horns ready to gouge anyone who gets close. Begin combat. Combat special. Each round, when it attacks, this creature deals an additional 1 HP of damage to any players who hit it. Okay. So baseline, it does 2 damage at the bottom right there, and we need to get a cunning and a something else roll to defeat it. So we need a cunning roll and per character 2 wisdoms. Okay, combat. For the combat, each character rolls their dice. Right. So the smith takes off one of the wisdoms. The tailor does nothing. And then the monster attacks. 2 damage. Each round when it attacks, this creature does an additional. Okay, so have the HP track here. We both started with 18 HP per character. The tailor goes down to 16, and the smith goes down to 15. Okay, next combat. The smith has a shield, which is great, but the strength, like the might icons, don't do anything. The tailor takes off the cunning dice. Okay, so the smith is blocked from that damage, guarding. And the tailor takes 2 more. The healing versus. Whenever the smith rolls a double, restore 1 HP to any character. So let's bring up the tailor. Say she was brought up to 17 and now she drops to 17, 16, 15. So they're both at 15. We just need to roll a wisdom, like that one. Wisdom. Combat special. Okay, begin combat. So we beat the agitated beast of burden. A haggard old woman appears out of nowhere and offers to read your fortune. Something in her eyes speaks of a greater power. You feel it is wise to comply. So before we do this, I forgot. At the end of combat, you pick up a single item. Checking the rules, first time playing. Combat after combat. Draw one item card regardless of the number of players. Okay. So from the Beast of Burden, we got Infested Cheese Wheel. Discard it to restore 1 HP to all characters. So each character can hold one thing in each hand, or a single two-handed weapon, or a two-handed item. Okay, so that was from the goat. The haggard old woman. Read our fortune. Each player must individually declare a trait, and then try to roll it in one attempt for each player. If you succeed, you may gain 1 HP or draw an item card. Failure, the witch steals part of your soul. Individually declare a trait and then try to roll it in one attempt. The smith is the best at might. Okay, he got it. Gain 1 HP or draw an item. He already has 2 items. Let's gain an HP. Go back up to 16 for the smith. Taylor, her best is the eyeball, which, of course, is cunning. But she sucks. 1 HP lost. Down to 14. Okay, so because it was not combat, we don't just get an item for like winning the chapter being the witch encounter. Sure, okay. What's next? Something is blocking the door to this chamber, and you use your shoulder to force it open. It is only when you step inside, eggshell crunching underfoot, that you realize you have destroyed a creature's nest. There is a mournful wail as it approaches from the darkness. Its sorrow soon turns to fury. Begin combat. Combat special. All players may fight as normal, but you are the only player this creature attacks, and you may not rest. So yeah, if with multiple characters, you always have to decide who is opening the door to the chapter. So we'll start doing that. The smith has the highest HP, so he was the one who opened the door, and he's the target of the monster. Doesn't even give the monster a name. Which has a might, an eyeball as well. Another eyeball and a star, which is Cunning Eyes and Star's Wisdom. Okay, roll a double, discard to restore HP. Sure, let's see what happens. Smith is a punchy boy. Taylor is a wise woman. Punchy boy. Wise woman. And she's defending, but she's not actually being attacked by the monster. All players may fight as normals, but you are the only place creature attacks, and you may not rest. Okay. So the smith is going to get smacked for 2 damage. He's down to 16, 15, 14. Maybe you roll a double when you roll a wisdom. Wisdom. She did roll a wisdom, but that's fine. I should have used the decayed blade to try and go for the eyeballs, since she is good with the cunning. Come on, Smith. Be smart. You're not. Taylor, get some eyeballs. You're not. Okay, once per round of combat. Per round. Which is... Okay, when you roll wisdom, I'm going to roll again. That's better. Eyeball. Smith boy takes 2 more damage. Camera fell. We're back playing the feud. Smith blocks. Taylor needs an eyeball, please. Double eyeball. Okay, good. So we get an item for combat. Stale loaf of bread. Discard to restore 2 HP to your character. So when you gain an item, you basically enter a state where like you can use a bunch of items and trade items. So let's restore 1 HP to everybody, and then also loaf of bread on the smith. Discard to restore 2 HP. So the smith goes up by 3, back to 15. And the Tailor goes up to 15 as well. And whenever you roll a double, you may restore 1 HP to any character. So let's say the Smith got that. Healing versus relic. Okay, what's next? You sense something strange in this chamber. There is a sudden drop in temperature and the air grows still. Then you see it. As a group, choose one option. We need to choose who opened the door. The Smith, the higher HP. Okay, as a group, choose. Flee. The Spectre steals part of your soul, and you lose 2 HP. Fight. Begin combat. With a combat special of, you are terrified, and any might you roll this chapter has no effect. Well, that's terrible for the Smith. We're going to fight because we want the items. Let's get the body's HP. Alright, that's good. So Smith with might doesn't do anything. You're terrified. Any might you roll this chapter has no effect. Okay, so if we roll might though, and it's a double, do we still have the healing versus effect? I'm gonna say no. Good job, Smith. Come on, Taylor. Good job, Taylor. Then Batty will hit us all. It does hit us all, right? I'm not crazy. Defend, combat, attack. Looking at the rules. Every character who did not block takes damage, alright. 1 damage. Next. Blocking, okay. Blocking as well. Look at that. What's for combat when you roll a wisdom? Wisdom is the star. Eyeballs are insight? Eyeballs are cunning. Okay, so they both blocked, so nothing happened. Not good. Good job, Taylor. Punch that Reaper. Get an item. Elixir of Insight, a potion. Discard before any round of combat. Before any, okay. To change any chapter dice to show a trait of your choice. Okay, so these are the chapter dice that the enemy has. So just give that to the Smith. Next chapter. Crazy Man. As you pass a heavy wooden door, it flies open, and a ragged madman bursts through. He wields his shackles as a weapon, and his crazed stare sends a clear message. You stand between him and freedom. As always, the one with the most HP, so the Smith opened the door. The Smith must try to roll might or a double in 1 attempt. Okay. You suck. You are smashed aside, lose 2 HP. Good job, Smith. Begin combat. He does 2 damage. Begin combat. You got a fist. You have a cunning. 2 more fists. That's actually not bad. Okay. Discard before any round of combat to change. No, we're not going to change. Ooh, great smash. Whenever you roll a double, you may restore 1 HP. Let's get the Smith back up to 14 hips. Taylor. Double shield, eyeball. So 0 damage to both of them. Now we just need a single punch like that. Rolling the Taylor doesn't have any effect with her items, so it doesn't really matter. Brew of Might, a potion. Discard to apply a single might at any time. Let's give that to the Taylor. She has terrible might stat. Yeah. Look up close, by the way. There's her stats on the left side. One question is, like the way I did it there, the smith punched the guy and finished him off before the tailor even rolled, but I don't think that's how that works. Like you all roll. Each participating player simultaneously rolls. Okay. So everybody rolls and resolves their effects. It's not like you kill the enemy before everyone else rolls. I picked up an item, right? Brew of Might from this guy. Quite sure. Watch the replay back. You wipe dust from the lid of a large tomb, hoping to read its inscription. At your touch, the lid slides open, and a giant knight arises, bellowing that you should not have disturbed him. As a group, choose one option. Before reading any further, who opened the door? Let's have the tailor open the door for a change of pace. We can either flee. The tailor loses 3 HP. We can fight with a combat special of all players may fight as normal, but you are the only player the giant attacks and you may not rest. Okay. Let's fight as always to get those sweet, delicious loaves of bread and festive wheat cheese items. He needs a wisdom and 2 cunnings. Cunning is great on the tailor. Discard to apply a single might. Don't need it. Don't need it. Okay. I feel like it's a good matchup for our stats. Cunning and wisdom are gone. You're shielded, but it doesn't matter because he's only attacking the tailor. Not rest. The tailor, 2 HP. Down to 12. Now we just need 1 eyeball. Not from you. Not from you. Scheduled by a single might at any time. When you roll a wisdom, which is the star, yes? Because the eyeball is cunning, they're too similar. Reroll again. Good job. Good job. The item we received. Warped Cudgel. One-handed weapon. Once per round of combat, when you roll might, you may roll again and choose which of the 2 results to apply. Okay, so that's great on the smith. He has 4 might pips on the dice. What's the worst thing? Discard to apply a single might. I feel like that's not great. Discard to change any chapter die. Let's give certainly the smith the cudgel. The brew of might. So in that item phase where you figure out your items, you just like drop things on the floor that you're not using. So it's on the floor. Cool ghost. At the end of this passage is an old stone well. As you reach in to test the water, it thrashes into a violent torrent. You have disturbed a malevolent spirit. The smith opened the door. More HP. Begin combat. With the combat special of the smith is incapacitated for the first round of combat, during which you do not fight and may not rest, but still take damage as normal. The smith recovers at the beginning of the second round. Cunning, wisdom, and 2 more wisdom. Okay. Then we roll. Discard before any round of combat to change any chapter die. I think that's actually fine with 3 wisdoms. Okay. Oh, the smith doesn't fight this time, right? Tailor with the 2 eyeballs and a shield. The shield, she rolled a double. Yeah, so the 2 eyeballs. She rolled a double, restores 1 HP to any character. She can go back up to 13. When you roll wisdom, no, fine. So I took that out, but the smith is going to get bonked for 2 HP. Yeah, we're just going to leave We're not going to use the elixir of insight. 2 fists. When you roll might, you may roll again. Choose. Okay, so before you choose whether you're going to use your cudgel, well, you're useless. When you roll wisdom, that's cunning. Double. Okay, let's instead of blocking, let's re-roll this and hope for a wisdom. Okay, it's another fist. So you may roll again and choose which of the 2 results to apply. So I'm going to choose the shield, so he's not hit, but doesn't help with the bad man. That's very good. Good job. You suck. Wisdom, that's cunning. Whenever you roll a double, you can restore HP to the smith, which goes up to 13, and he's blocking. Just need one more cunning. No wisdom. Okay. The smith did like all the work. So let's see if you have some good stuff. Elixir of Insight. Discover before any round of combat to change any chapter die to show a trait of your choice. We are going to drop that. Next. This chamber is flanked by caves and littered with gnawed bones. A guttural growl rings out as something emerges. Who opened the door? They're equal. Let's make it the tailor. The tailor opened the door. Tackle the beast head on. Use hit and run tactics. Okay, so if we tackle the beast head on, we only need to hit it with 1 specific die. Oh, well, 2. Instead of 5. But he's stronger. Yeah, we're gonna go for the 2. Sure. Okay. The smith really better come in handy here. Well, what do you know? Does the tailor get her healing off? She does. Good job, Smith. Will Smith. No. Liquid Luck Potion. Discard to re-roll your character die, applying only the second result. I'm trying to decide. Liquid Luck or Elixir of Insight? Either discard to reroll or discard to change a single die. Well, we haven't used it yet, so it hasn't been that useful, the Elixir of Insight. Who opens the door? It's the tailor still. There's some kind of blacksmith. In this sweltering chamber, a blacksmith is forging a sword. He is so absorbed in his craft that you spot an opportunity to steal from him. As a group, choose one option. Move on, it's not worth the risk. Turn the next chapter card. Steal. Nominate a player to try to roll cunning in 1 attempt. Cunning? Well, the tailor's really good at cunning. You relieve the blacksmith. If we succeed that roll, you relieve the blacksmith of some of his wares before slipping away. Draw 2 items. Failure. You are caught red-handed and the blacksmith turns his hammers on you. Each player loses 2 HP. Well, half of the tailor's die is cunning. Yeah. 50-50 shot. Let's go for the glory. Risk it for the biscuit. Come on, Taylor, don't F up. Well, you effed up. Can I do anything about that? No. Once per round of combat, that wasn't combat. So we each lose 2 HP? Well, that sucks. Some kind of door? To enter this door, you are forced to push aside thick, thorn-covered vines. They spring to life, binding your wrists and hauling you into the thicket beyond. You lose 1 HP. The U was the tailor with 1 HP. Okay, fine. Hacking at the aggressive weeds eventually causes them to recede through cracks in the old stone walls, leaving behind the belongings of precious previous victims. Draw 2 item cards. 1 HP with 2 item cards isn't that bad, I think. Partially rotten apple. Discard to restore 1 HP to your character. Alright. Definitely gonna eat that. Liquid luck. Discard to reroll your character die, applying only the second result. So certainly we will eat the apple with... They're both at 11 now. Let's make it the tailor. Back up to 12. Liquid luck? Nah. Kind of bell. You ascend the narrow spiral staircase, emerging onto a wind-swept bell tower. As you cross the tower, the bell swings into life. Its dreary peal, shaking your very bones. Okay, so the person who did that was the tailor. Any player who cannot roll wisdom or a double in one attempt loses 2 HP as the sound begins to drive them insane. You cannot roll wisdom. Okay, so they're both medium on wisdom. Taylor? Yeah. Well. Or double. Loses 2 HP. They're both down to 10. So they started at 18. Sorry, the Taylor's down to 10. The Smith's at 9. Some kind of mirror. As you pass an ornate mirror in this bedchamber, twisted versions of yourselves step through it with murderous intent. You become separated and must fight alone. Each player must roll their die twice and place corresponding chapter die in front of them to represent their doppelganger. Place only 1 die for each double rolled. Begin combat. So combat special. No player can rest until their doppelganger is defeated. They may then either rest or help another player defeat theirs. A player aiding another takes damage as normal and must declare who they are aiding before they roll. That's interesting. Each player must roll their die twice and place the corresponding... You have to fight a cunning and a might. The tailor has to fight a wisdom and a cunning. So that's the fight. I think you're... I was going to say going to change the wisdom, change the cunning here because the Smith is bad at cunning, but no, doesn't have the elixir of insight. Okay, whenever you roll a double wisdom, well, let's see what happens. Nice, good for you. Fine for you. So the tailor took 1 HP. They're both down to 9 out of 18. We don't have too much longer in the dungeon left. We have 3 regular chapters and a boss at the end. So, like, we got through a lot of the dungeon before getting down to half HP. That discard to reroll your character die, applying only the second result. Let's try it. Get the item slot open. Eyeball? Eyeball. Not an eyeball. Tailor. An eye, which is cunning, not wisdom, so you can't use the blade. Never used. Take another hit. Down to 8. Will Smith. Star. Can't do anything with that. Can't do... Well, you're shielded. Taylor's shielded from the doppelganger, and with the healing verses, going to heal herself 1 HP. Okay. I didn't take an HP from Will Smith. He's down to 8. You don't do anything with that. The Taylor. You suck. So they both take 1. Smith. You're shielded at least. Okay, so the question is, do we reroll with the Warped Cudgel? I don't think so. He can just hold out, because then if the Tailor defeats her doppelganger, she can help. Well, look at that. Okay, Smith. No. The Smith was shielded, right? Yes. Tailor. Look at that. That worked out perfectly. When you win combat, it's only a single item, regardless of the number of players. After combat, 1 item card. Okay. Parser Rotten Apple, 1 HP. That is going to Mr. Smith. They are both at 8, with 3 chapters left and a boss. At the end of this winding passage, a wooden chest covered in cobwebs is protected by a gauntlet of vicious-looking traps. As a group, choose one option. Who opened that door? Let's make it the Smith. As a group, choose one option. Move on. It's not worth the risk. Turn the next chapter card. Risk it. Nominate a player to try and retrieve items from the chest. They must roll cunning in 1 attempt, and may try this as many times as there are players. The Tailor is good at cunning, right? The eyeball is cunning, I'm quite sure, because the star is wisdom. Yes. Risk it. For each success, nominate player to try and retrieve items from the chest. 2 on a double cunning. Loses 2 HP. They must roll cunning 1 and may try this as many times. Okay, so we'll at least try it once on the Tailor to try and roll cunning. Draw an item card for each success. Elixir of Insight, sure. Wanted that before. They may try this as many times as there are players. Here in this case, when playing solo, players means characters. 2 characters. Let's try it again. Risk it for the biscuit. Double. That means you get double item. Draw an item card 2 on a double cunning. Effervescent. Oh, 2 new things. Effervescent Evasion is a potion. Whenever you would lose HP, discard this item to lose none. That's good. Rengorn's Rune, a relic. Whenever you roll a double, you may change it to any single. If you do, the double does not apply. Okay. When you roll Wisdom, you may roll again. Okay, so the potions, whenever you lose HP, discard this item to lose none. That's really good. Rengorn's Rune is a relic. Whenever you roll a double, you may change it to any single. I don't know about that. There's only, well, there's 2 doubles on every dice. That's not bad. Choose. Let's swap it out for the Decayed Blade. We haven't used the Decayed Blade. Then the Elixir of Insight is just going to stay behind. Well, there's a madman. You are knocked unconscious and dragged down a side passage. You awake, strapped to a table where a man in a filthy apron is scraping rust from a jagged blade. You are to be a test subject for the castle's torturer. You equal HP. Let's make it the Tailor. You must endure the pain until the absence is noticed, and you are rescued. Oh, until your absence. So the guy grabbed the Tailor. Roll your character die 5 times. For each roll that is not might or a double, you lose 1 HP. Well, I chose the wrong character for that. You must endure the pain until you roll your character die 5 times for each roll. For each roll that is not might or a double. That's 1, 2, wow. 3, wow. Really? So out of 4 rolls, we evaded 4 HP. That one, you're going to take a hit. Yes. So only receiving 1 HP damage out of 5, that's pretty good. Last regular chapter until the boss. You turn a corner and step right into the path of two guards. They exchange a puzzled look, then lunge to restrain you. As a group, choose one option. Who opened that door? The smith with more HP. We choose to flee. You force your way past them, but not before taking several glancing blows. Each player loses 1 HP. Fight begin combat. I'm of the mind of always doing combat if possible to get more items. Although we have full items. So, the question is, either we leave and both of them suffer 1 HP, or we have to fight and like basically make a perfect roll in the first round for 2 different dice, or we each take 2 HP. I think it's actually better to leave them behind. We are entering the boss room. The tailor is at 6 HP, the smith is at 7. Did we do anything with our items? No. The boss. Do not read until you have completed the last chapter card. This is it. You have reached the final challenge. One last obstacle stands between you and freedom. Turn over now. It is the terror of the underworld. Pain only makes me stronger. At the end of each round, if Terror of the Underworld has not been defeated, he grows in strength. Oh god. Roll a chapter die and add it to the row of remaining die. Boy, oh boy. What if we run out of die? I guess we just don't add more. Starts with a might, 3 cunning, and another cunning and a might. Yeah, that actually very well lines up with the strengths of our character. So that's good. Okay, we can't take many hits. At the end of each round. Okay, so then we add the die. When you lose, sure. That is not helping anybody. When you roll a double, So that was the worst possible rolls. The tailor is at 3 HP now, so one more round and she's dead. And then we lose if any character dies. We need to grow in strength. Well, look at that. Wouldn't that have been nice? Eyeball? Might lose HP. A fist? So we can like take 2, then he attacks us both, and the tailor will die. That it was my first round of Escape the Dark Castle.